A celebrity death, a government cover-up, a nation's outrage. This is the unsolved mystery of Yu Menglong. The eternal love actor's fatal fall was ruled a drunken accident, but leaks suggest something far more sinister, a murder linked to high-ranking political elites. Why was he made unalive? Was it because Yu had proof of their financial crimes and he has just been silenced? The censors are working overtime, but billions are asking the same question. What are they trying to hide? This is the explosive story behind the death that many are calling China's 911, and the political firestorm it ignited. It began with details that didn't add up. In the early hours of September 11th, in a luxury Beijing apartment, the party was winding down. Among the 17 guests was Yu Menglong, a famously disciplined actor with a high alcohol tolerance. By 6 a.m., he was found unalived on the pavement below. Police rushed to label it a drunken accident. Case closed. But the public immediately cried foul. How could a man in peak physical condition simply fall from a waist-high window? And why did that window tell a different story? It was fitted with a metal screen, a barrier that should have been difficult to breach. Yet in photos taken from outside, that screen bore deep carved scratch marks. Why would a drunk man claw at a window screen? Unless he wasn't just falling, unless he was fighting for his life. In the aftermath, an eerie silence fell. Not one of the 16 other party guests spoken. The police case was shut with stunning speed. Online posts, photos, and videos related to this incident were systematically erased. Then came the bombshell. A man claiming to be a temporary waiter that night came forward with a harrowing account. He served drinks and watched as Yu's own agent pressured him to drink, eventually slipping a mysterious white powder into his glass. When the waiter tried to intervene, he was pulled into the kitchen by a man in black and given a chilling warning: "Stay out of this if you still want to live." Terrified, he fled and went into his hiding. His testimony was posted online, and then, like all of the other evidence, it too was deleted. Then a new detailed post surfaced, peeling back the layers of that night to reveal a far more sinister sequence of events. It was revealed that the gathering took place in the penthouse of Yu's longtime friend, a screenwriter named Zhao. According to the property's surveillance footage, the party lasted for over 6 hours, but the timeline that emerged was chillingly precise. At 1:15 a.m., Yu's agent received a mysterious phone call. His demeanor shifted instantly. He grew nervous and began aggressively forcing drinks upon the actor. Then, at 1:45 a.m., a second call came in. This time, the agent was overheard, assuring the caller, "Almost done, just a little longer." 5 minutes later, at 1:50 a.m., the cameras captured the moment Yu was dragged into an elevator by 2 men. He was barely conscious, his face ghostly pale, his body limp, his speech slurred beyond recognition. This was the reason he was moved from the penthouse to a separate, rented unit on the 5th floor. The final call came at 2 a.m. Once it ended, the agent immediately ordered everyone to leave. All 3 calls, investigators noted, originated from the same untraceable virtual number, which has since been deactivated. The identity of the caller remains a complete mystery. But the host, the screenwriter Zhao, wasn't finished. A neighbor recalled being awoken at 4 a.m. by the sound of frantic movement. They witnessed 4 men in black carrying cardboard boxes, not furniture, out of Zhao's apartment. Zhao himself was described as frantic, staring at his phone before speeding away in a black SUV with no license plates. Now the police confirmed that Zhao is missing. His phone has gone dark. This is where the story takes its most horrific turn. Piecing together various internet posts, a narrative emerged that Yu was subjected to torture and a violent assault in that 5th floor unit before he fell to his death. So the question remains, who was on the other end of those 3 calls? He appears to be the puppet master who orchestrated Yu's death from the shadows, but he did act alone. He had helpers right there in the room. But since that night, a curtain of silence has fallen. Every single guest from the party has vanished. No statements, no names released, no official investigations opened. The cause of death remains firmly stamped, an accidental fall. But the public's belief in that story is shattered. Driven by outrage, people began to dig, unearthing a history of predation. Whistleblowers revealed that from the very start of his career, Yu had been the target of a powerful producer, Xinqi, the illegitimate son of Tsai, a top-level political party member of China's central government. This man, who is gay, initially posed as Yu's biggest fan and benefactor. He relentlessly harassed the young actor, seeking to force him into a relationship. He even controlled Yu's very first fan club, weaving a web of control around him for years. trapped, Yu eventually found his hope for freedom. He had somehow gotten his hand on concrete evidence of Xinqi's money laundering crime stored in a single USB drive. But when Xinqi discovered its existence, the actor's shield became his death sentence. The party, it is believed, was the trap. It was there behind closed doors that Xinqi allegedly subjected Yu to violent and sexual torture, attempting to break him and retrieve the drive. And horrifically, the entire ordeal was captured on video intended for blackmail. But then the videos leak. In them, a timeline of agony unfolds. People heard Yu's screams, saw the beatings, and pieced together his despair from broken words. He steamed, "I have been harassed since I was 25. I have lost all hope. Only death could free me from being played to death." In early clips, he shouted in defiance, swearing he would never submit. In the final footage, he was barely alive, limped, silent, perhaps already gone. The fall, then, was likely nothing more than a staged finale, arranged by the perpetrators to tidy up the crime. But another source provided a revelation that was even more gruesome, claiming the actor's ordeal began days earlier. According to this account, Yu was held captive starting around September 8th. When he refused to hand over the USB drive, he allegedly swallowed it. Knowing of his fear of heights, his captors then hung him upside down from the window. Neighbors confirmed hearing screams and seeing struggle shadows. It was then, they alleged, that he fell the first time. He landed on the grass, was rushed to a private hospital, and was cut open to retrieve the USB drive from his stomach. After surgery, he was brought back dressed in new clothes and subjected to a second fatal fall at the building's entrance, the one the world was meant to see. And in that final public photo, sharp-eyed netizens noticed it. Beneath his blue shirt, a strip of white was visible. It looked exactly like a bandage. The haunting death of Yu Menglong has been silenced, yet it ripped open an old wound in China's entertainment industry, resurrecting the ghost of another young star, Cdrama. In 2016, this promising 28-year-old actor, known for hits like Legend of Luzhan and Tiny Time, was found unalive in his Shanghai home, just 1 month before his 29th birthday. The official story was that he took his own life after a long battle with depression, a condition for which he reportedly received little support. But as with Yu Menglong, the official narrative failed to silence the whispers. A far more sinister story began to circulate on the fingers on the internet. Entertainment bloggers alleged that Xiao, too, had been trapped in a world of non-consensual relationships and abuse at the hands of powerful figures. The most gruesome rumors claimed he was tortured at a party and found with his body mutilated, one arm allegedly missing. Some even said his grieving parents were threatened into silence, prevented them from speaking true justice for the son. So what connects these two tragedies, separated by years but united by a mystery? Perhaps most intriguingly, a common figure appears in both of their stories. Actress Song Yuan, who has been accused of acting as a lure, drawing these young men into some dangerous social circles populated by wealthy, powerful, and allegedly predatory patrons. The death of Yu Menglong is not an isolated incident. It is a terrifying echo from the shadows, revealing a sinister pattern that those in power have tried desperately to conceal. Yu's case has exploded onto the world stage, with international media scrambling to cover the story. Yet despite the global scrutiny and the chorus of questions surrounding its bizarre conclusion, the full truth remains locked in darkness. With no one held accountable for the deaths of Yu Menglong and Cdrama, the hope of unmasking these invisible forces grows dimmer. Thank you for watching this edition of Chinese Star Buzz. If you have any additional thoughts to share, please do so in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for forthcoming updates, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.